Hey guys, I'm Christina.
I'm Taco. She's my mom.
And he's my son. We're going to talk about some real shit, and shit's going to get real. This is Trust Tree.
All right.
Yeah,
cool.
You better saddle up and buckle in because I'm ready to talk. I am so pumped up. I have this cup of coffee in my system, and I have been working out and eating healthy and getting good sleep. So I am fucking lit.
Sound like you're on a vodka Red Bull. It's my 6 fucking vodka Red Bull. Let's go.
It's 4 a.m. We got at least 6 more hours.
Oh my God. I want to go to lunch.
Okay, so one time I went to Vegas.
Oh boy.
And I was in Vegas. I went there for RollerCon when I was playing roller derby. Mm-hmm. And, you know, in Vegas, they make sure you don't know what time it is. There's no clocks anywhere. There's no windows. There's no nothing. And we were fucking partying, and I think I was drinking Jaeger Red Bull. And I didn't have a bunch of them. I just had a couple of them. But I'm ultra sensitive. So sensitive. And so I was just partying. I was having the best time. And there's this dude who pretends to be Billy Idol, and he deals cards and they lip sync and stuff every once in a while.
Okay.
Well, the whole thousands of derby girls, man, we all took over.
Man.
Listen here, man. We all took over the card room, the slot area and everything, and we turned it into a fucking concert. No shit. The guy was standing on the card table, lip syncing Billy Idol, and we were all singing with them and jumping up and down, several hundred of us.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and we literally turned that casino into a fucking concert. It was the best time I've ever had. So then we all go back up to my room. We're having a good old time.
Well, you didn't really turn it into a concert. You turned it into
well, I guess it wasn't a
club
concert
room because he wasn't singing.
It felt like it, man. It felt like it. So then, if we ever get big, I want a T-shirt that says "Man." That's gonna be on our merch, man. And it was so awesome. We're having the best fucking time. And so, I suffer from anxiety disorder. At this time, I'm really managing it very well. But there's certain things that will trigger it. So we're in my room, all having fun, and I open the curtains to look out the window, and it's fucking daylight. I literally was get the fuck out. Everybody get the fuck out of my room. Because I knew if I don't get some sleep, I'm going to have anxiety all fucking day. Mm-hmm. I went into panic mode, kicked everybody out of my room. I was get the fuck out of my room right now. We fucked up, you guys. It is a fucking daylight, and we have a bout in 2 hours. I had to roller skate against giant women in 2 hours, and I was so fucked up, all twacked out on Red Bull. Let me tell you.
Just Red Bull.
I fucking love Vegas. No, I did not do drugs then. Yeah. It was
one of the boring things.
Yeah, it was the slow time. Don't look over there.
It was a text message.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that was super fun. We fucking stayed up so late. Why were we talking about that?
You wanted to.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah. It was awesome. Oh,
why are you letting me talk about this? You did it.
Anyways, because I was talking about being lit and all excited. Yeah. It was so much fun. It was the best. That, if you could just imagine, it's Vegas, A, and B, it's the craziest fucking bitches on the planet from all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
All over the fucking world would come. And we would fight each other. That's not what I meant to say.
We'd fight each other.
We'd bow. Well, sometimes fights would break out, but we'd bow, and then we had a ball, a big ass ball. It was called the black and blue ball, and you wore black and blue. We'd have a huge ball
beat the shit out of each other in there.
Just a bunch of events. Yeah, we had parties called dance off, pants off parties. No, pants off, dance off parties, and everyone would come in their underwear. It was fucking awesome. We'd have bondage demonstrations. I got a rug burn for that one. On my forehead.
On your forehead?
Yeah.
Rug burn?
Yeah.
I need an explanation.
I don't remember if it was I fell over or...
Or you're like a dog getting its face rubbed in piss?
I think I was hogtied.
Okay.
And I was trying to get up, and I used my head for something. And somehow I ended up with a really bad rug burn on my forehead. I have pictures.
Of the rug burn, or you hogtied getting the rug burn?
Oh, no, only of the rug burn. There's no evidence in those sorts of things. Mm-hmm. And there was nothing sexual going on. It was just somebody being
this is how you do this.
How do you hogtie someone? And I was oh, you could do it on me if you want. Just totally fucking...
It's like, here, I volunteer as tribute.
Oh my God, it was so fun. And we would just all hang out. And there was roller derby royalty, like in any community, in anything. Like there's amazing skaters and like all this stuff. And they would have like fucking penthouse room. It was crazy. They'd have like penthouse rooms because they were sponsored by skate shops or by, like bearings companies or whatever. It was its own fucking world. It was so fun.
I remember being in it. Do you remember me wanting to fight your coach at like 10 years old?
No, D, why?
Yeah, there was just one night that I like came to practice and he was just being extra dickheady.
That was his fucking jam.
Dude, I wanted to fight him.
Coach Dirty. Dirty D was his derby name, and his whole job was to be a dick, but he was a really good coach. He was a really good coach. He's a good guy. After everybody kind of retired and made our own way, I was riding a Ferris wheel to break a Guinness World Record, and he came and rode with me to help me stay awake.
Really?
Yeah. And he was like, hey, I just want to let you know, man, I was a dick. I was like, yeah. He's like, I really like you, though. I really do. I'm like, cool.
Thanks, D.
Thanks, D. He's fucking awesome. His wife is awesome. That whole fucking time of my life was so fun.
Yeah.
That's when I went to jail, though, and it wasn't even my fault.
Wait, okay. Go on.
Did you not know I went to jail?
No, I've known you gone to jail several times, but...
No, I've not gone to jail several times.
Infinite times.
Let's just get that fucking straight. I went one time, and I never want to go again. I am not that cool.
I coughed.
Oh, I was like, what's happening?
Focus.
So after practice, we would go down to these bars, right? And we'd all have drinks and hang out or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, it was one of the girls' birthday, and she got fucking hammered. And I always would get a bourbon and soda water with a lime squeeze. Or I would take a shot of bourbon and then drink a Corona. So I had a shot of bourbon and a Corona. And this chick lived like right down the street. And she was super hammed. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to drive you home because I don't want you to walk. And so we come up to this stop sign where you can like turn right to go over the crooked bridge. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Or go straight. But it's like really squirrely because it's not like a real right. It's not like a this. It's not like a that. So she points, and I thought she was pointing to tell me to go over the bridge, but she wasn't. So I stop, and then I start to act like I'm going to go over the bridge, and she freaks the fuck out. And I think she sees something I don't, like I'm going to hit someone. So I kind of like yank the wheel and stop suddenly. Well, of course, there's a fucking cop like tucked in.
Yeah. And waiting for someone to do the wrong thing on the bridge because the bridge is a one-way.
Yes, exactly. So I get to her house. I literally get pulled over in front of her house. We roll down the window, and he's like, hey, he's being really polite, and he asked me if I have had anything to... No, she rolls down the window, and she's like, hey, officer, do you want to come to our bow? And it's like trying to give him a flyer, and the whole car reeks of booze because she's just slaughtered. Yeah. And so he was like, have you had anything to drink tonight? And I told him the truth. I was like, yeah, I had a shot of bourbon and ice and a whatever the fuck beer I drank. Corona. And he was like, okay, well, I believe you because most people don't tell me exactly what they drink and whatever. Like usually people are like, oh no, sir, I only had one drink, or I had like, no one's like, I had this, and this. So he's like, okay, come on and get out. So he gets out. He does a full field sobriety test on me. Like I'm doing all of the things.
Yeah, I'm doing fucking backflips and cartwheels.
I'm killing it. The one thing I did is I was supposed to like turn over your right shoulder when I turned around to walk the line again, and I turned over my left shoulder. But it's like at this point he's told me to do 16 different fucking things. I also just was roller skating for 4 hours, so my legs are a little wobbly. So like when he's telling like balance on one leg. Yeah. After you've done a squat for 4 hours basically. Yeah. So anyways, all that shit happens.
And I can't balance on one leg normally.
Right? Yeah. So he says to me, he's like, you know what? I think you should still do a breathalyzer. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I do. Guess what I blow?
09.
0.07. The legal limit in California is 0.08. You know what he says to me? I know that you're under the legal limit, but it is my professional opinion that you are impaired, and I will be arresting you. You're under arrest.
Did you get a DUI for this?
Fuck yeah. I got a DUI. Well, I fought that shit.
Yeah, I was about to say, did you go to court for it?
So then he was like, she's freaking out in the car. And I'm like, call M, my ex-husband.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't know his number. I'm trying to tell the number, all these things. My car is like parked in the middle of the road. And he was like, I'll tell you what, I will pull your car into her driveway so your car doesn't have to get towed. At least I can do that for you.
Mm-hmm.
I get in the back of the car. I have a full-blown panic attack. I'm like hyperventilating, freaking out. I'm like, you don't understand. This doesn't happen to me. I'm the president of the PTA. I said something ridiculous like that because I was on the board for your school.
Yeah.
I'm freaking out. So then he's like, it's going to be okay. We're almost there. He's like consoling me. We get there.
Well, why is he arresting you for not breaking a law?
Dude, right. So then we get there and then he's like, well, we should I want to draw blood. So then he draws my fucking blood on a .07.
No, okay.
All of this. Because they have the legal right to still arrest you even if you blow below the legal limit. This is what I found out. Children, so listen here. So then this little town that I live in, the jail is closed. So they have to take me to fucking county jail. So they load me up in a fucking white...
I'm down in Folsom Prison.
Dude. So then they load me up in this fucking van full of like prisoner dudes.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, you can't sit with them. So you have to sit
You're not cool enough to sit with the real
in the
thugs.
back. No, because I can't be near men.
Yeah.
So they put me in like this back. So I'm like sitting like all folded up, like basically in the trunk of a van.
Yeah.
All folded up. And I'm freaking out crying. And there's this dude in the car that's like, this one dude that's like, he just goes, get all your tears out now because you can't be fucking crying when you get in there. Do you hear me? You got to get it out now and suck your shit up when you get in there. You can't be a fucking pussy, okay? And I was like, okay, and just crying in the background. And he's just trying to tell me to suck it up.
I know. I was wondering if you were going to have one of those. It was like,
my
you didn't get it together.
God. So I get it together. They take me in. I'm on my period and they won't give you anything.
Mm-hmm.
So then, and I'm not wearing underwear, so it's all they have is sanitary napkin. This was the worst fucking experience.
Yeah.
Don't go to jail, kids. All they have is sanitary napkins. They don't have tampons, and I'm not wearing any underwear because I'm wearing like derby workout things and tights and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I end up in there. And then what happens is, so now I'm in like this tank. And you can't see a clock. You don't know how long you've been in there. You don't know what time it is. Mm-hmm. And then they end up transferring prisoners. So now they can't put the prisoners that are coming from actual prison in with Gen Pop in the jail. So they put them in the fucking holding tank with me. Like full on murder convicted felon hanging out. I'm like, you want my blanket? You can have it. Like sleeping on the floor, sticky floor.
Yeah.
16 hours I was in jail for a .08. They would not.
.07.
.07. They wouldn't release me on my own recognizance. I had to get bailed out. It was fucking ridiculous.
Nice.
Yeah. Turn that noise off.
Oh. Thanks for the reminder.
You're welcome. I got fucking 16 hours, which is like not a big deal. It's not like I spent days in there, but it was the worst and scariest 16 hours of my life. The not knowing what time it was like the craziest, hardest part.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know why this ex-husband of mine was having a hard time finding a bail bondsman. He was like, I called and they said they'll call me back at 6 a.m. I'm like, then call 16 other people. Get me. I'm in fucking jail, man.
Yeah.
So anyways, needless to say, that gal was real sorry and felt bad. And when we ended up going to court, the judge was like, you play roller derby? Oh, I loved the Bay City Bombers. And he starts talking to me about roller derby.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, absolutely. And we do a lot for our community and we volunteer and we do this and we do that and all these things. And the officer was there and he was like, oh, this is the part that sucks is the guy that watched my tape that was supposed to testify for me was like, dude, I watched her tape and based on her field sobriety, I would have to say that she was impaired.
Wait, what?
Yeah, because I was wobbly on my leg because of I was fucking
Skating for 4
I had
hours.
muscle like fatigue. Yeah. And he's like, I know, but there's no way we can prove that.
Don't go to the gym, man. You're going to get a DUI.
Don't go to the gym, you'll get a DUI. Yeah. So anyway, so then the judge basically was like, told the cop, who I think was like the captain's son or the sheriff's son, told the guy like that he's basically been way overactive and bringing way too many cases to him and he needs to chill out. Because they have minimums and shit they have to meet.
He was like, hey, man, you're way over your quota. Fucking relax.
You need to relax. That's what he told him. And so they reduced it to a wet and reckless, which I was still on probation. I had to have probation and everything. They reduced it to a wet and reckless, and I had to do community service, but he let some of my past community service that I did he let me do my community service through my league.
Okay.
So my president would sign off every time I did something for the community with the league, and that's how I got out of my wet and reckless. But yes, the moral of the story here is 2 things.
Fuck the police.
No, don't.
Fuck the police.
Don't even think that you could have a couple and drive. Don't even think it, number 1. And number 2, jail room floors are sticky. It's so disgusting.
Hey guys, Editing Taco just popping in for a real quick break. Just wanted to start off by giving a quick thank you to our patrons for this month. These are the people who are financially supporting the podcast and the content that me and my mom make. So just going to give a quick shout out to Limeson, On Gods, Unknown, Kevin, Nins, Good Old Blue, Grizz, Aaron, Gothic, Jen, Nico, Britt, and Mouth. Thank you guys for your continued support. And if you guys are interested in financially supporting the podcast, you can find that in the description of the show or at patreon.com/datdirtytaco. And there's a bunch of benefits depending on what tier you join at. Also, last little message before we get back into the rest of the show. We are now putting the podcast on all major podcast listening platforms. So we are currently on Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and it's still getting uploaded to YouTube. So if you are on one of those platforms that isn't YouTube, if you would consider leaving us a review, it really does help the show out and help get us in front of more people the more positive reviews we get. So we would really appreciate that if you could take a little bit of time to do that. And with that little note, we'll get right back into it and go answer some questions. Okay, this is one that's really right up our alley because, you know, sex, drugs, and feet.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll, baby.
So, if your kids were wanting to do drugs, would you want them to tell you?
Yes.
Okay. So,
that's the question.
Yeah, that's the question.
Okay. Yes, I would. But you guys do drugs so different now. Like, you guys, like, are biochemists and shit. Like, you guys test your drugs. You do. With us, it was like, oh, let's just spin the wheel, see who might die tonight. Do you know what I'm saying? So it was like, so yes, if my kids were deciding and wanting to do drugs, I would want them to tell me. One, because I would want to be able to like watch out for addictive behavior. I would just want to keep a closer eye on them. Mm-hmm. I'd want to know what kind of drugs they were doing. I'd want to make sure that they were educated about what they were putting in their body.
Yeah. So then, if I didn't start doing anything until after I was 18. So
yeah. Well, I think you smoked weed a little bit when you were younger. I
was maybe 17, but I smoked weed for the first time either my junior or senior year.
Yeah, it was your junior year.
But then I didn't do it again. And
your dad blames that on all your grade problems. Yeah, but I will say, I gave you the best just say no line.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah, say that you've already done it.
Yeah, and you just didn't like it. And if you really want to push it, just tell them, I get super paranoid. Trust me, I'm no fun. It'll ruin it for you.
Yeah.
So there you go, kids. If you don't want to try something, just say you've already done it and it freaks you out and you'll ruin everyone's time. So just no thanks.
Yeah, anyway, so me and him sorted all that out.
Okay, good. So if we're talking about like my experience with you and your drug use, like I was glad that you told me you were experimenting and you were doing things. I did get concerned. I feel like you way overused MDMA or Molly or ecstasy, whatever the hell you guys call it nowadays. That's the only drug that really scares me that you tried. LSD does scare me a little bit because you can do brain damage with it, I'm pretty sure.
Only with the things that are cut in it. Like And again, you're not getting, if anyone tells you you're getting pure anything, they're lying to you.
Yeah.
No one's selling pure shit. Someone along the supply chain cut it to make more money. That's just a fact.
Unless you're getting it from like a doctor.
Or you're getting it from El fucking Chapo.
Like, yes.
Your doctor or El Chapo can prescribe you medicine
If
safely.
you aren't petting a tiger while you're receiving it,
then maybe
it's not cut.
Yeah. But like LSD itself, like with nothing else in it, is incredibly safe. You can't, it's like, you get a physical addiction.
Yeah.
It's physically impossible. The body does the opposite of cravings for it. On top of that, like the only thing that can happen with LSD is because of the line that exists for psychosis, right? Because every mind has a breaking point.
Yeah, where you just start snapping, you're homeless, talking to yourself, walking down the street.
Yeah, where it's a line.
I've been on that line before.
Where it's a line of time and stress.
Mm-hmm.
And the more stress for the longer amount of time, eventually you will hit that point.
Yeah.
So if you're tripping 24/7, eventually you're gonna hit that. But like most people, you're gonna be fine. So like if you have a family history of like schizophrenia,
you probably shouldn't be doing hallucinogenics if you have family history of that. So psilocybin, is that what it's called? That doesn't scare me as much anymore because it's actually been shown to like be really good for you. Weed doesn't scare me, but I was so taught that it's like the gateway drug, which it kind of is, because like you try it and then it's cool, and so then you want to try something bigger and better and different and different.
Well,
like,
there's been a bunch of studies done that like debunked that, saying that in a statistical manner. Malf, you can actually fact check me on this one, but I'm pretty sure that is just one of the byproducts of the
be careful, don't talk to chat.
Yeah, no, I know. I just want him to fact check this one thing because I'm like 99% sure that a bunch of studies were done that there was no correlation between marijuana use and harder drug use, meaning things like amphetamines or
really, because I
heroin.
feel like most people don't just jump right into methamphetamines or heroin. Like they usually have a little something they start off with.
I think what the study showed was that there is like a much larger amount of people who start with weed and then don't progress
go
through
anywhere.
The chain.
Okay, that makes more sense to say it's more likely that you won't progress, not that you won't progress into anything. And maybe if you're progressing into other things just because you are a fucking addict, you have addictive personality.
Yeah, but what the studies would then be showing was that
I see what you're saying.
Weed is not the reason these people progressed, because the vast majority of people did smoke marijuana or cannabis and then didn't.
So
so you can't say that weed is the cause.
Yeah, Hugs Not Drugs was a big deal. Like Dare to Keep Your Kids Off Drugs was a big drug program when we were in school, and there was like a poster.
Fuck that lion, bro. The Dare lion?
Oh, I don't think ours was a Dare lion. It was like a badge.
Oh, there was like a here, I'll pull up the picture.
When cops weren't hated. But anyways, there was like a contest, and there was a poster contest about like say no to drugs poster contest, and I won like $50 or something like that. And
spent it all on weed.
And Toys R Us money, and I sold the Toys R Us money to my cousin and took the cash and went and bought weed.
But look, that
is a true story.
This is Darren the Dare lion.
Oh yeah, no, that wasn't our mascot. Ours was like scary. So look up Dare 1989. Dare logo 1989 or something like that. But anyways, yeah, I won the contest and took it and bought drugs with it.
Proud of you.
I will say there was a time frame between that, like a year. I kept the Toys R Us money for a year.
So anyways, so like if I had come to you and was like, hey man, I'm doing this shit, I wouldn't have like gotten in trouble.
No.
Really? I would have gotten in trouble if I got caught though, because I would have been lying. Right? No? Probably.
You would. Yeah. I don't know if I would have been like, I'm not the parent though. I'm not that parent that's like if I found out, if I found out you smoke pot, no, I would not be mad. If you came to me and you were like, Mom, I tried meth last night, then your whole life would change.
Yeah.
We'd be moving. We'd be changing schools. We'd be everything, because that is like kill you shit. But if you were like, I tried pot, or, I ate mushrooms, or I did LSD, I would probably talk you through it and educate you and be like, it's not my preference. These are the ways you could be safe. I think I would treat it the same as if I found out you were drinking. Like if you're out and you're high and you need a ride, or you think the person shouldn't be driving, then I will come get you. You won't be in trouble. I think I would treat it like that.
Yeah.
But if you're talking hardcore drugs, and I found out, you would be rehab bound.
Yeah,
for sure.
Mm-hmm. Even if I like just did meth once, it would be like rehab.
No, I don't think it'd be rehab, but I would change your lifestyle.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I would definitely remove you from the school that you were in, get you away from your friends, move my house if I had to.
I definitely think that like
that's why Nana and Papa moved me from the town I was in.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Because my friends were doing hard drugs and going down wrong paths, and Lisa wasn't. So they moved me so that I could go to high school with her.
Huh. I definitely think for me, I think that drug education and sex educations are kind of like something that exists in a parallel, where like abstinence-based sex ed creates issues in babies. And I think that so in the way that sex positive sex education is definitely the way to go.
Yeah.
To like, the more educated you are about sex, the less likely you are to have a baby in high school. And
I think a key word that you said is sex positive, because even though I wasn't taught abstinence, I wasn't taught that. I wasn't taught. My parents were like, it would be great if you could like save yourself for marriage, but I wasn't taught that like I could come to them. I wasn't taught that like it's okay. Like I was scared of it, and I don't. And thank God, because otherwise I wouldn't have you. But if I would have felt like I could have gone to my mom was like, "Why didn't you come to me? Why didn't you tell me? I would have got you birth control." And I was like, "I was scared, and I didn't want to go to the doctor." And she was like, "Well, you're going to be going to the doctor a fucking lot now." Yeah.
So then, in the same way that I feel like the more you know is better on that end, I feel like harm reduction in education is the way on the other one.
Yeah.
I think it is a lot better for anyone to be making an informed decision, whether it be a shitty informed decision, like, than to be making a blind decision.
Yeah.
Hence why.
And you got to be careful as a parent too, because if they do come to you and they tell you that, that's a real vulnerable spot that they're expressing to you. And if you freak the fuck out and lock their ass up, they're never going to come talk to you again. Yeah. So it's this really fine line between like wanting to be there and guide them and that sort of thing, or ending up like stifling them and telling them no and then losing their trust. Yeah. Because you don't want to be I don't want to give you permission to do it, but I also don't want to freak out so bad that you never come talk to me about anything again. That could be even more life altering or important. Yeah. It's also such a trip to me too, because that's talking about Dare, how like my young kids are going to grow up and look at pot like it's
better than alcohol.
That it's just like alcohol. You just have to be 21 to buy it, whatever. You're not supposed to do it. It makes you silly, whatever, like I think, moderation, blah, blah, blah. It's so weird to me.
I think that the generation that my kids are, I think even yours, are going to prefer weed over alcohol. I think that being a pothead is going to be more socially acceptable than being a drunk. You don't see any angry stoners.
Right, right.
You don't get high and beat your wife.
You also don't usually get in car accidents and kill people when you're stoned and driving, but you shouldn't be stoned and driving. Asterisk. Yeah. So one time I was really stoned and driving with another person. She was actually driving, and dumb, like it looked like this. We felt like we were playing a video game. Like we were so stoned and driving, and we were driving around this town that has like all of these like cliffside roads and everything. And we start driving up on this mountain road, and all of a sudden, like, there was no warnings, no cones, no nothing.
The road just vanishes.
The road fucking fell out. Landslide road fell the fuck out. And we're on this windy, like, country road on mountainside, like coming through up the foothills in California, and stoned as fuck. So lucky she was like coherent enough to be like, that doesn't look right, and stop the car. But then we had to drive in reverse all the way back down because there's no way you could not turn around on that road.
I would have just waited. I would have just been like, hey man, we're just going to vibe out and chill on this mountain for 4 hours.
I didn't even, we were too stoned to even think of that. I said, I'm grown up, and I didn't even think, oh my God, we should have just sat there and not.
Just hung out in the mountains.
I think if I'm remembering, we were freaking out that the road was going to continue to fall out and we would die or something. So we were like, we got to get the fuck out of here. Yeah. So we drove backwards the whole way down that windy ass road. That was some scary shit.
To put into perspective how much of a non-risk taker person I am, if I was in the car and someone was like, I'm going to drive backwards down it, I would have been like, okay, cool. I'll meet you at the bottom.
Right. I'll walk.
No, like, and I would have done it too.
Yeah.
Like, dead ass. I would have been like, I'm going to go for a hike.
This gal and I made some pretty stupid decisions together when it came to drugs and drive. She drove on LSD.
I've seen videos of people driving better while tripping than driving better while drunk.
And we went to a cemetery and we got pulled over by the cops and she talked to the cops.
That's wild.
On LSD.
That's intense. We threw fireworks at cop cars while tripping once.
Oh my God.
Not we, my friends.
Oh my goodness.
But well, yeah.
Yes.
You're also not all parents. I feel like you should be the norm in the regards of like, if you tell me I'm not gonna flip the fuck out because education over punishment.
Right.
But like, yeah, I don't feel like that's the way most parents fly.
I think you're probably right.
Yeah.
I think that if you are interested in that if you are going to be experimenting with drugs, you need to A, find a trusted adult that you can talk to, B, research it yourself on the internet, and C, find a trusted friend that has also done these things that you can get some wisdom from.
Yeah.
And if you're unsure, then the number one answer is just don't do it. Like, nothing is worth getting unalive for. Like, literally nothing, except like saving someone else's life. There's nothing as fun as just living, period. So
well, I'll give my like when I have friends who come to me and they're like, I want to try this. I'll like give my onboard spiel. So for Question Extra or anyone else who's like considering it, number one, don't. But I can't stop you. Number two,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just don't.
Rule number one, always test your shit. I don't care if your fucking mom.
So how do you test it? Do you are there testing kits you can get on Amazon?
Yep.
No fucking way.
So basically what it is, it's a chemical...
Dude, level up on the drug use, man.
It's a chemical reagent kit. And I think you have to buy them from Canada. Because Canada has very different drug laws than the US does because of the war on drugs. So basically what it is, it's this thing that you'll get that has a bunch of little vials in it. And do not fucking drink them. They will kill you. Do not get them on your skin either. They're all like toxic.
Yeah.
So anyways, what you do is you get the kit. And there's typically 4 of them. I forget the names. And it will come with a card that has a bunch of different colors for each. So each chemical in the container will have a card with a bunch of different colors on it. And what it is, so what you do is you take your drugs. And I'll talk about it like we're testing Coke.
Okay.
Because
see, the way we tested Coke is
put it in our nose.
No, you watch someone else do it. If they don't die, then you do it.
So
someone had to be the sacrificial lamb.
Yeah. So there's a couple ways that you could go about doing it. The way that I prefer and always tell people to do is basically you take a portion of how much you have and you put it on the table, cut it up into 4 bits, and then do it that way. If you want to be really stingy, if you get like blow in a bag, you can.
How else would you get blow? In a rock?
I mean, if you're getting fucking kilos.
Oh my God.
Like whole blocks.
Yeah.
But it will be in a bag.
Yeah.
You can transfer it all to you can like smash it all up in the baggie that it came in, get a bunch of residue on the side of the bag, take the then dump it into a different bag. Take that bag, fill it with water, pour that water into a cup, and then use that to test if you want to be like really stingy about it. But you're not going to get everything in it, so I recommend taking like a decent sized portion and then cutting it up. Or if you're doing like
your life is worth it.
Yeah. Or if you're testing like Molly, then you take like 1 rock. If you're testing presses, you cut off a corner of the press and do the same thing. So then what you do is you have it on the plate, then you take your droppers of each chemical and you put 1 drop in each corner, and then you put the bottles next to them so you keep track of what bottle is what and you match the cards up with them. So then what you do is you take, you smash it all up good, separate it into 4 corners, then you take some of it and you smash it and smear it into the chemical, and you let it, or you smear it later. You drop it into the chemical and you let it sit, and you do that in all 4 corners, and then you let it sit for like, I think it's like 30 seconds, and then you like take a knife, like a butter knife, or just anything that you can like spread it with without getting your hands in it, and you just kind of like how they do on sauce when they're plating with a spoon, and you like smash it out so you can get a good look at the color. So this is where the cards come in, and then the cards will have different colors. So like if one chemical...
This honestly makes me feel better about drug use.
So like, this is why people need to be educated. There's like, there's
ways to protect yourself.
Yeah, there's like organizations that get kicked out of raves and have to go like underground. But what they do is they go around and they offer testing kits to people. They'll take any drugs and test them and then return them to you because they know you're gonna fucking do them.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to make sure you're not gonna OD on fentanyl.
Mm-hmm.
Because fentanyl is like the big problem.
Oh.
Because that's what killed Lil Peep. That's what kills a lot of people.
Okay.
It's an opioid.
Yeah.
It's really easy to overdose on because it gets cut into coke a lot. So then you like look at the color and you look at the card. So like if you're testing for MDMA, you're looking for, most of the time you're looking for like a deep blue. And then any other color will tell you. So like when I tested my like one of my last batches of Molly before Corona happened and I stopped doing drugs because there weren't any raves. Because I didn't want to just be rolling at my house.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
Like one of my last batches was not Molly, and we only knew because we tested it. And
what was it? Just fake baloney?
Meth. All meth.
Oh my God.
We tested it. We were looking for blue, and we went, that's fucking pink, which is meth. And then retested it like 3 times. Was like, that's fucking meth.
Aren't you so glad?
Yeah. And then I called.
So then what do you do? I'd like to return this.
No. So like I got it from a friend of mine who shall
not be named
in any way or wherever he is. And I call him and I go, hey, I'm not mad at you because this isn't your shit. But I was like, you need to go track down everyone that you like middleman for because this shit's whack. I was like, it's all tuna. It's all Tina. It's all fucking meth. And he was like, oh, okay, I'll handle it. And then he went and he told all of his friends, got all of us our money back. And then he went and did whatever he needed to do with other person who was selling us, who lied to him. Yeah. Because that's the fucked up situation, right? Is this like, no one, like, your name, this is going to sound so backwards, but that's why you test your shit. And you can buy them online. But this is why you need to test your shit. Because most of us
don't want to hurt you.
Yeah, I don't want to kill my friends.
Yeah.
And most of the time, like your neighborhood friend that's like, hey man, I got a little bit of mushrooms. I got a little,
right.
I got some Molly if you want to try it.
Right.
Like most of us are friends with those people. Like in this community, in this like circle of people, most of us are friends with those people. It's not some weird, creepy guy you go onto the street corner and you're like, hey man, I need to get my fix. Like I'm like, in my circle, we're not going to trap houses. Okay. It's friends.
Right.
And those friends don't want to kill you. They're not trying to make like stupid money off. Like, yeah, they're going to make a little bit of money.
Right.
But they're not going to make stupid money off of you. And they're not trying to kill you to do it because they're your buddies 90% of the time. But the thing is that the people above them
don't give a fuck.
And then the people above them double don't give a fuck.
Right.
So that's why you need to test all your shit. And that's why there's such a big movement for like people testing stuff, because there was like, I was like hearing this one story about a guy at a show who had been selling people stuff, and he was like really big in the rave community, and he was selling people that was like dosed with enough fentanyl to kill people.
Oh my God.
And the like guy, basically the person from this org who goes around testing shit, someone came and they tested, he was like, you cannot take this, there's a lot of fucking fentanyl in this. They're like, okay. And they're like, where'd you get it from? They go find the guy at the show. And he's like, who'd you sell it to? He's like, oh, I can go grab all of them. And they like tell him why they're there. And he like starts breaking down and crying. He's like, I don't want to hurt people.
Right.
I was like, I thought this was safe. Like, blah, 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 blah. Like, I've never, like, he's like, I'm not trying to make like, I was like, I'm not cutting my product to like try and make more money off of people. I just want people to have a good, safe time. That's why I like do this, because I thought my stuff was safe.
Yeah.
And he was wrong.
Yeah.
Because he didn't fucking test it. And then he'd sell it to all this. So then he like gathered up everyone that he had sold and was like, give me that shit back. Here's your money back. Go find something else because my shit will kill you.
That is so fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Test your drugs. Or here's the thing, like you were saying, don't do it. There are so many other things that you can do. And you and I had this discussion. Like there are so many other things that you can do that are natural and spiritual and can give you that existential, like out of body experience or like a total mind blowing. I mean, obviously it's well enhanced when you're doing especially hallucinogenics or anything like that. But there are just so many other things that you can do to have adventure and to get that get that
Yeah.
high. You don't have to do drugs.
So anyways, to finish like my like rules. Number 1, if you're unsure, don't do it. Number 2, I don't care where the fuck it came from. Don't care if your mom bought it for you. You test it.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, it's all about headspace and environment, baby. You want to be around good people. No matter what it is. If you're smoking weed, don't smoke weed with crackhead John.
Yeah.
I smoked weed with crackhead John. I don't smoke weed anymore.
Somebody told me, because weed would make me paranoid, and somebody recently just told me, you just have to set your intention before you smoke. Like, it is my intention to smoke this, chill out, and go to bed.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, intention set. And I didn't freak out. And I went to bed and had a good night's sleep.
Okay. And then the last one also.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean
This
to
one
remind you.
is for me because I have like a pretty fucking addictive personality. Don't buy extras. Never buy as much as you need for a night.
Don't you have some sort of formula you use for your body weight and
Oh
all
yeah,
that
this
shit?
it's specifically for this is do we want to get into how I like almost OD'd?
Nope, I do not.
Okay. Anyways,
You told me already, and I don't want to talk about it again.
okay. So
Because you were like, I'm just going to do some more. And then you had to go to the tent and blah, blah, blah.
well, I ended up not going to the tent. I almost went to the tent because I was like, I'm gonna overheat and be the one guy who dies of heat stroke. I'm gonna be that one guy. But anyways, but the thing that's really cool about EDC though, before I do this last little spiel, if you don't have to get flown to the hospital, any and all medical service that you receive in an insomniac event is paid for by your ticket.
Oh.
You do not
that's
pay
cool.
a cent unless they have to life flight you out.
Interesting.
Anyways, that's why Rays are so safe. Anyways, don't bring in more, because what I would do is I would be like, okay, and I was like, I'll bring in like an extra dose just in case I end up needing it. I never didn't take it because I was high and wanted to stay high.
Yeah.
Like, just get as much as you need for one night. It's gonna suck when it ends, but everything
It always
ends.
ends. It's got to end.
And that's going to do it for us this week, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Trust Tree this week. Per usual, y'all, have fun, be safe, don't die. Peace and blessings, and we will see you next week.